business where dreams ignite. Dreamers tell their stories, sharing their fight. Through the labyrinth, their truth unfolds, a building of foundations echoing bold. They share their journeys with passion and pride. Join us as we go along for the ride. So here's to the dreamers, the ones who dare, the lessons and the knowledge we're here to share. Once upon a business, in our minds we'll stay, guiding the way for business, each and every day.
Hi everyone, I wanted to welcome you to the next episode of Once Upon a Business. I'm your host, Melanie Santostefano, and today I have the honor of being with Larry Doria. He's the CEO of the P4 Companies, a security firm based in Chicago, serving not only around the country, but around the globe. And we're going to learn today not only about Larry's kind of trajectory through the security industry for nearly 50 years, but also about him as a person. And that's what this is all about, just kind of learning a little bit more about the people behind the companies. So, Larry, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. It's really great to have you here.
Thank you. Appreciate being here.
Yeah. So I wanted to start first about like your upbringing. I know you're born, bred, and raised in Chicago. So tell us a little bit about when you were younger.
Yeah, I was fortunate to have a very strong family. My mother and father's roots stemmed from the Bridgeport area, and then kept moving out to St. Visitation, and then eventually over to the West Lawn Park area. So I went to St. Mary's Star to Sea, which was a great school, and then St. Rita High School on 63rd and Claremont, which was a very good school. In fact, our Pope is an Augustinian, and he's very close with the Augustinians at St. Rita. They all know him real well. So I did have an advantage of going to two really good schools.
You also had a lot of siblings growing up.
Yeah, there was 8 of us.
That's a lot of kids.
4 boys and 4 girls.
Nice and even down the middle.
Yeah, which there's 6 of us left, and I do say that the 8 of us, and now 6, we always backed each other, especially through some real hard times we went through with my father getting sick at a young age, and my mom having to work hard to support us. So it's made us the people we are today, and I can never say enough about my brothers and sisters.
That's really a blessing to have. And also, too, losing your father, how old were you when you
Well, I was 14 when he passed, but it was probably 9 or 10 when he really started getting very sick and went blind, and he was probably in the hospital more for 4 years than he was home. But it does change your life dramatically, and changed all 8 kids in a different way. And obviously my mother, who had to really work hard to support us and make sure that we got in through these good schools, because I had 2 older brothers in St. Lawrence. I had 4 sisters in Queen of Peace. I went to St. Rita, and my youngest brother ended up going to Hinsdale South later. But not an easy task for a single female.
Especially at that time, too. Women really weren't out working at that time for the most part, but your mother did, I understand.
Yes, my mom was, she started out as a cook and really became a chef from that. She was with an elite group of caterers that catered for all the elite in the Chicagoland area, from the North Shore to Lakeshore Drive penthouses. And she worked for the Women's Junior League. She was their chef. She was the chef for Marshall Field and his wife.
Wow.
She did big parties where she cooked for W. Clement Stone and Conrad Hilton Jr. and the Joyces that owned like 7-Up and Pepsi, and just a lot of figures like that. And I was lucky enough to where she brought myself and my brother with her, and I was able to work that from a young age, because I looked tall and old. I was able to work with her and learn a lot from the time I was probably in 6th or 7th grade through high school, but was able to do a lot of things working at VIPs' homes, and it was very interesting. And
I'm sure it was a great education and providing the best of customer service.
sure, it's you learn to serve. You're
Yeah.
definitely serving, whether you're
Yeah.
setting up or in a tuxedo, passing wine or hors d'oeuvres, or closing up the party. It's long days, but it's you're there to serve. So
Yeah. Well, and that must have been just a great education in observing these giants from the Chicago area, like the
yeah.
Hilton family and all of that. Seeing a bunch of affluence around you.
Yeah, some of the people we saw, I never thought I'd see in my life. Some of them, the younger people wouldn't even know who they were now, but they were magnets in the industry back then, and saw some very interesting things, big mansions and a lot of opulence.
Yeah. So then bring me to when you're getting a little bit older, 17, 18 years of age. When that's the time that I believe you found the security industry.
Yeah. So my mother had gotten remarried and moved out to Darien, Illinois, and took my two sisters and youngest brother with her. And my oldest sister, older brother, they were out of the house, and my other older sister was out of the house. So it was just me and my brother Jim, 4 years older than me. Wound up being very successful himself, by the way. But him and I kind of went out and got some apartments by Marquette Park and did what we had to do to survive. And had had apartment payments, had car payments, utilities, all those things. And I was fortunate enough, my older was more stable than I was, my older brother Jim, so he helped me along. And we did it together, but we survived. And I probably had, 10 different jobs that I tried when I was 18, 19 years old. And finally found the right job, which was to be my start of my career, almost 48 and a half years now.
Yeah, that's a long time. So tell me about that job. What was the company name?
So the original company was SOA, Special Operations Associates. I was the first employee walk through the door, and there were sergeant, lieutenants, eventually years later, retired superintendent of Chicago came with us, and so I was the first employee, and was able to learn from the ground up. And I believe in mentorship. I was lucky enough to be mentored by older men. Even some of the men that worked for me that were older than me showed me a lot and helped me out. One in particular was he started in 1952, I want to say. His name was Paul Newell. He was an African-American, came back from World War II and came up to Chicago and had 32 years on the job. Retired and showed me everything about the street. But more than that, he taught me how to be a man, and he taught me a lot about doesn't matter what color you are, doesn't matter what neighborhood you're in, doesn't matter who you are. Nobody's better than anybody else, and we can all be brothers. So it's something that stuck with me my whole life.
I think that is a great word for today, too.
Yeah.
And also, it's great that someone came in to not only show you, the security world and his experiences in it to help you, but also just to give you that mentorship and guidance as a man to a younger man.
It was great. I looked towards older men at the time, especially because my dad died when I was young.
Yeah.
So I was really lucky enough to meet some older men in my time that put their arm around me and taught me the way. So.
That's great. And so talk about your work in this company. I know you had a bunch of different roles, right? Mm-hmm. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I had my first company. I started as a security officer. Mm-hmm. So to me, security officers are very valuable people. Mm-hmm. I don't think I'm any better than they are. I just call myself an older, maybe more accomplished security officer. But I started as a security officer. I did field supervision. I did site supervision. I did scheduling. I did event management. I did recruiting. I did just about every job you can do in operations to get to where I am or where I was at the time.
Yeah. So. And so you were there for, was it 17 years?
Well, no, I was actually with that company till we sold it, 32 years. But
Okay.
After about 17 years, we had grown very large, very well known, and now I'm the president, got my license through the state of Illinois, and then eventually became a partner in the company. And at that point, myself and my old partner, Dan Davis, who was one of the originals, were able to facilitate a leverage buyout with the other three principals. And then I became a partner with Dan Davis. In fact, we kind of put our own spin on it. We changed the name to the Security Professionals, and we started to grow, and we did very well.
You know what I love about that is that you really did start at ground level as an entry-level security guard, and then you got all this experience over the years, and then you become the president. I mean, to me, like, what better perspective can you have than really to understand each of the levels going up to where you are now the leader? So I do feel like that's excellent training ground for a leader to just be able to see the roles.
Yeah, it's, to me, when you can start from the bottom on up, not only do you know everything, but you can feel, you have the emotional intelligence when you're dealing with somebody that works for you or with you.
Yeah.
You have the emotional intelligence to know what they're going through, to relate to them, to talk to them, if they have a problem. You might have to go to their house and bring groceries or go visit them in the hospital.
Yeah.
You have to show them that you're with them, that you're behind them and you support them, and that you're no better than they are, and that you're there for them.
Yeah. And that type of treatment really does breed loyalty to a company when you feel like you're more than just a job, you're a person.
We had out of all the Chicago companies, we had the lowest amount of turnover.
Really?
We just had real good satisfaction with our employees, led to high satisfaction with our clients.
Yeah, sure.
And so it kept our turnover low. Even in our office, if somebody only had 12 years, we'd call them the newbie. So it's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah.
I believe in treating people right. I've got some friends that are very successful, but they're humble, and I believe in that. I've got a friend at Ray Scarpelli. He owns 5 to 6 dealerships in the Antioch area. Ray is the most humblest, grateful man you'd ever want to meet. There's Donnie Medea, who owns a group of very successful restaurants in Chicago and even in other parts of the country. Donnie started out from nothing, and he's a very humble, successful man. I've got Jim McNulty. His father had one of the most famous old security companies in Chicago called Kane. His grandfather had it way back in the day, and that's how Jim came up working that. Jim is now he's one of the overall heads of Securitas, one of the largest security companies in the world. He runs Securitas North America, and he's a very, very nice, humble man. So we all had the same thing in common.
Yeah. I think when you do really have to earn it, it's hard to forget that, or you should always remember it.
Yeah.
Right?
An ego can be a great thing for you.
Yeah.
An ego can propel you and make you do better. And part of that ego is a good thing to have, especially when you're trying to come up and you're advancing and you want to get better and you want to get a better position. But an ego, if you take the other side of the coin, if it's a bad ego or it goes the wrong way, can really not only hurt you, but it can hurt your company.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So tell me about the types of clients that this firm was working with at this time. I know that there's some big names like Metra and
yeah, we had Metra. We had the original Democratic National Convention in 1996. We had 500 off-duty retired policemen a day. For Metra, we had jobs anywhere from doing all of their security, especially on the big holidays or the 4th of July downtown where we'd have 1,000 people a day for them, to doing audits for them where we'd use thousands of employees a day for 3-4 months.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, and we had a plethora of big clients. We had Citadel at Griffith, and we had the Chicago Board of Trade and the Mercantile Exchange and
Big names.
the Museum of Science of Industry. We had the Art Institute of Chicago.
Wow.
So we did have a lot of big names. We had an account with the city of Chicago. We did the cultural affairs, and we pretty much did all their divisions.
Those are all banner clients to have. So you were definitely a big game in the city of Chicago at that time.
Yeah.
So bring me to, I know that the company was running, and that fateful day that anyone who is alive for will not forget, September 11th, 2001. So tell me how your company sprung into action on that day.
Well, on September 11th, my wife was working downtown. She worked with the state of Illinois. She was at the state of Illinois building at the time. I was watching it from my bedroom, and I saw what happened. Obviously, after that second plane hit, I realized what happened. So I called up my wife. I said, get your team, because she was a boss down there. I said, get your team, get them out of the building and get them home. We don't know what's going to happen in the city. I said, I'm going to get ready. I'm going to jump in a car. I'm shooting to New York to try to help these people. Well, as I was trying to do that, I'm getting so many calls and pages from our own clients that I quickly realized it was an impossibility for me to do that. So within a couple of hours, we had so many phone calls for our own accounts and extra people that they wanted downtown that within 4 days we had over 8,000 extra hours that we had to supply of off-duty police officers to downtown Chicago.
Wow.
It came out to about 1,000 bodies.
Wow.
And thank God we had such a passionate and devoted team were able to do it, because that was part of our work, and it wasn't foreign to us, and we were able to charge a premium and get a premium. So we had people in the museums, in all the train stations. We had them in a lot of the Class A office buildings. And they were basically checking any kind of package, any kind of purse, suitcase, anything that was coming in and out of that building, they would check.
It's hard to believe that day. Gosh, I can, just thinking about the aftermath. And so basically you had this level of professionals out securing areas and checking things. For how long did that go?
So that went about 6 months.
Okay. Wow.
And in the meantime, we still had the rest of our two companies that were running with the regular clients who were all on high alert. But that went about 6 months.
Sure.
And then when the cost was getting high, because it was at a premium to get these officers, because everybody was wanting off-duty police.
Yeah.
Then they asked us if we could start doing security officers, which we had business downtown with the other company, but not a lot of it. And so we had to start a different firm called Security Management and Investigations. It was in the local union, SEIU, and there were BOMA buildings. So it was a whole different type of security company. And we started it with the civilian end in June of 2002. And then we became the largest in downtown Chicago because of a lot of different things we did. We had a boutique style of doing business. We had a very good culture of sitting with the client, looking them in the eye, holding their hand. We brought on some different types of higher level training, some different types of uniform looks. And bottom line is, within 6 or 7 years, we're the #1 company in downtown Chicago. We weren't the biggest because you had some companies down there that were internationals that were doing 15, 20 billion. But we were, for the downtown Chicago area, we were the top company down there, and we were the largest independent in the city.
So it sounds like you set a new standard in security while you're doing
I think we did. And they all followed, and they all did it too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good companies in our city.
Yeah.
So they all followed a lot of it. But yeah, we brought in very expensive, very good looking suits versus just a sport coat and gray slacks. We did some real high intense training. We utilized the training from the Ritz-Carlton legendary customer service training. We brought on Disney training. We brought on a lot of situational training where they actually had to get up and do it. They weren't just watching a video.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know?
that's the best way to learn anyway.
And so they actually did it so they remembered it.
Yeah.
And we stayed on top of it. We met regularly with the clients. We didn't just see them once every 2 or 3 weeks. We went and saw them regularly, a couple times a week, sit down with them. What do you need? What can we do for you? What's wrong? How can we fix it? And we just built it up quickly. So we were, and I mean this humbly, we were the #1 company in downtown Chicago for a number of years, and we did very well.
Well, the way you describe it, it looks like you earned that spot. You know, just really taking time with clients and hearing what they need from you.
Yeah, I think we did. We had a great group of people that worked with us, and they were very passionate. They do anything. And it's an around-the-clock business. We go 7 days a week, 365 around the clock. That's our business.
Yeah.
We work heavily with the police, with the fire, with the emergency management. And the group of people that I was able to put together and that had already with me were phenomenal. Yeah. And I can't thank them enough.
Well, you know, people not leaving, you know, that gives you a really strong centering and foundation.
Sure.
And so you built this all up, and then what happened in 2010?
2010, I got a big offer from Securitas. Now, at the time, Securitas, I think, was doing about $15 billion a year, and they were the biggest in the world. And anyways, they made an offer. We had gotten a few offers, probably 7 or 8 different offers from some of the companies, but we had a good relationship with the guys from Securitas. And my one partner that had stayed with me, because we had done a leverage buyout on the others, we made a decision that it was time to try to sell it.
Okay.
So we sold the company.
That's a big deal.
Yeah,
It
was like our baby.
Yeah, it's your baby selling to a global firm.
Yeah.
That's exciting and
So
scary.
the deal, you know, they had such a big operation in Chicago because they had thousands of people that they felt that they wanted me to go with them because they knew that I'd be able to keep all the old customers sticky there.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was part of the deal, but they really didn't need a lot of the staff because we had a great staff, but they already had a staff to do everything.
Yeah, yeah.
So I said, I'll do it, but I'll only do it if you take the staff. And then we'll wait a year and see what happens. And of course, after that year, my staff was right up on top, and they're still with them today.
That's wonderful.
Most of them are.
That's wonderful. You did it. You did that.
Yeah, I was grateful that they let me do it.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Because a lot of companies wouldn't have, but they did.
Yeah. So you did 3 years then. You went along with them for 3 years, is
Yes.
that? Okay. And tell me about that time. What were you...
So I did 3 years. The first year, there was not a lot of change. I did help them a lot the first year because I knew all of their big clients. I was friends with the majority of their really big clients, and so I was able to help them work with their big clients and troubleshoot them and things of that nature. Yeah. And then I spent 2 more years with them. I did learn a lot. I was given the authority over the city of what I brought in and what they already had there, and we worked on all of their accounts. It was large. It was very large. It was a little under $100 million portfolio at the time. But I learned a lot from Securitas. It had a different mission than I think I had, but it's still a great company and it's a good company. It was just different. You know, you got to come from a different place when you're 15 billion versus 40 or 50.
Right, right, yeah. Just the mere size of it is going to change a lot of things. So you did your 3 years of just kind of helping to, usher in your style of running your business and being bought by Securitas. So then after those 3 years, then what did you do?
Well, my 3-year contract was up. I am an entrepreneur. I always have been. Mm-hmm. And so I decided to, I still had a 1-year non-compete. which I got into consulting for that year because there was no competition that way, and I did very well on that.
Yeah.
Basically, what we were doing was setting up the security for the dispensaries, because that's when they first came out, and there was a lot of work to be doing on getting these people licensed. So I did that for a year, did very well, and when that was over with, my non-compete was over with. So I went back to the little
Guess where you went back to?
Little boutique style.
It's almost like
security
back
company.
to the beginning. You
Yeah.
went just went right back to the beginning.
Yeah. So I went back to what I knew best, and that's
Yeah.
a boutique style type of security firm.
Which is the P4 companies.
P4 companies.
And in all transparency, the P4 companies, we've been honored, my company has been honored to work with them since 2016, I believe, a couple years after you started. And before we let Larry tell you all about what P4 does, I will say that being a witness to the growth of this company has been just outstanding. Like, it's been an amazing experience to watch this company just skyrocket, and have you tell everybody about it. So talk about P4. So when you started it.
So P4 means protection force. It was a military term. Some of the gentlemen that were with us originally when we started it were people that were from Blackwater and from the military. Some were SEALs and Force Recon Marines, very honorable men that had served their time in the different wars, and very honorable guys that worked hard, had a lot of skills. So when we started, we were doing not just the typical things, but we're also doing things overseas with executive protection and things like that. But as we grew and changed and had some positive change, we really got away from that at the time. It was a good product, but the time just wasn't right for that. And we got more into the off-duty and retired police officers. We did really well with that. In fact, we went over to Puerto Rico for the hurricanes. We sent 100 officers there, and it was all last minute. They needed them right away. So we got them on planes right away and got them over there, and then trying to find them somewhere to stay, 110 plus individuals, wasn't easy because everything was taken. And we're trying with some friends and contacts we had in the government and FEMA, but they'd only let you in those locations if you were an actual government worker.
Oh, got it.
So we ended up renting a resort on the other side of the island that was closed down because of the hurricane. And it worked out really well.
Wow.
I even think they brought in some extra generators and that. It worked out well, and we did a great job there, and had a great team of guys there that worked hard.
Okay.
So that was one of the crazier ones we had. And we did a lot of jobs for some big international firms overseas. So we're in all the countries you wouldn't want to go on vacation to. Let's put it that way. And but we did a great job. It worked out well, but really to make a volume number of revenue, we had to go into what we knew best, and that was the off-duty police, and then eventually security officers.
Yeah. So there's a couple of different, you have a lot of offerings, and to learn more, you could go to the p4companies.com. I'm doing that because we're their marketing. But so a couple areas have been really strong or have grown really strong. The neighborhood patrols with off-duty and retired police, and then executive protection. Why don't we tell everyone a little bit about neighborhood patrols first?
Sure. So before I get into the neighborhood controls, we do regular security officers, civilian security officers. We've got a lot of Class A buildings, and we've got dispensaries, and we've got factories, and all that typical stuff. And we're doing very well in that. It's growing well itself. But in this day and age, you have to think out of the box. The guys I put around me really are the secret to the success for our company. I put guys around me that are younger men and ladies, but they're technology savvy. They've got good skills with the technology. We're doing a lot of work now with the AI and with video and all different kinds of things, information systems, threat assessment systems, all kinds of different things. So two of the things that really took off for us, one is the neighborhood patrols. So because of not having enough police officers on the streets, which, by the way, let me clarify, I've got nothing but utmost respect for police officers. In fact, most of my best friends coming up and most of my mentors were all police officers. So to me, what they do is amazing, and I've got nothing but good things to say about police officers. But there's not enough of them. And because there's not enough of them, crime started getting bad in Chicagoland and Chicagoland suburbs. So we're able to start patrols in these neighborhoods. Some of the neighborhoods we patrol in are Lincoln Park, Bucktown, the Evanston, Rogers Park border. We were in the West Loop for a long amount of time, River North, the Northwestern Hospital campus, Northwestern College, University of Chicago area. We do work in University Hospital, DePaul. So we're all over with patrols. Back of the yards, we have patrols. So we've probably got almost up to 50 SUVs that have not only all the lights and horns and bells and whistles, but we have inter and outer facing cameras with artificial intelligence, with behavioral analytics in them. So we can not only see all around us and see what's going on, but we can see the officer inside to make sure that he's fresh and he's doing his job and that he's driving the right way and things of that nature. Most of them do, by the way. Most of them are great officers that do a great job. So, but anyways, the patrols are going great. The neighborhoods form associations. They get lawyers and they get insurance and they get associations and they bring the money together. And then we're on a Slack channel, which means we have communication with all the neighbors, even the ones that aren't paying for it. If they're in that vicinity that we're doing, we've got communication with them. And they'll send us their video feeds from their cameras on their doorsteps. So we do a lot of things. Obviously, we're deterring crime. Mm-hmm. Some of it's serious crime. Some of it's carjackings and things like that. But we also do the simple things for them, like make sure if they have a lot of product on their front door that we let them know. Get it off the front door so somebody doesn't take it. Mm-hmm. If they left their garage door open, we're telling them, close your garage. Mm-hmm. Just doing a lot of things to stop that and have that deterrent. Now, we have a director of logistics and information who's Paul Weinman, who's a retired deputy chief out of Skokie. Very smart man, knows this stuff up and down. He's got a couple individuals that we hired to work for him. And what he does is he pulls all the stats off of public record and he puts together the heat sheets on the neighborhoods so we can see what's happening there. And we can prove it up that the neighborhoods we do have much less crime occurring than the neighborhoods around us.
Sure.
And, back in the day when I did this stuff, because I've been doing it so long, now, I was fortunate enough to have bosses who later became partners with me that were in command positions with the police. So I was fortunate enough to get accepted by them and be able to talk to them and them actually talk to me. And so back then, they really didn't want private security companies on the streets. It just wasn't done. It wasn't good for them. They didn't like it. Now, the commanders, the aldermen, a lot of the police, probably not all, but a lot of them do like the fact that we're out there.
Yeah.
They work with us regularly. They talk with us all the time. We're in constant communication. They make sure that we're working, doing the things that they need done. So we could be the eyes and ears and the deterrent where they can go and take care of their serious stuff. People getting hurt, people getting murdered, mm-hmm. things like that. Mm-hmm. And I think it really does augment the police departments quite nicely. We're actually took some of the midnight shifts in Winnetka. They're very happy. The same thing's happening with them. They're keeping their crime way down.
Yeah.
There's a lot of suburbs up north that are talking to us for the same thing.
Yeah, Winnetka was the first suburb.
It was the first one, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're doing really well with that, and it looks like there's a great future in it for us. And we watch it from our SOC, which is our remote monitoring room. So we can see everything. Mm-hmm. We can see what the squad's seeing. We can see the officer. We can see, we have breadcrumbs to see where they've been to make sure that they're doing their job. We have it geo-fenced. So if for some reason they have to leave to get gas or they want to get something to eat, we know it. And if they're doing it too much, we don't let them.
Yeah.
So we've got a lot of bells and whistles on it.
Yeah.
We also, from that monitoring room, which if you can imagine a little tiny 911 room basically, we watch cameras on the walls. We can plug in any camera basically anywhere. We have towers that we can bring out, portable towers, and they telescopic up. We have a 360-degree angle. We can put words on there. We can talk from them, telling people to get out of the area. The police are coming. They do a number of things. They can do trend analysis. They have artificial intelligence in them. So they'll see people. If they see a crowd, they'll alert us. If they see a fight, it'll alert us. So we've got that capability too.
Yeah.
We're working with drones now. We think that if drones were up in the air when they tried to shoot the president and shoot Charlie Kirk, there might have been a different scenario.
Yeah.
So we're working with drones. They do have different laws on drones, but we are working. We can watch them from the SOC. And there's a number of things. We can watch the robots, everything. We can watch them from the SOC. The SOC is amazing.
Yeah.
What's coming out with that type of surveillance work is amazing.
Mm-hmm. I've been in this, and it is very impressive. And it's not really little; it's bigger than.
No, it's a nice size.
Decent size. There's many screens. I mean, it's just there's so many locations that you're monitoring all at once.
Right now we're monitoring about 16,000 locations
That's
in
amazing.
about 15 states.
Yeah.
And we've got area to make the SOC 4 times bigger if we have to in our office. So we're just waiting for that opportunity to come. We've got SOC operators that are the best, the most passionate, loyal, and they're former 911 operators. They know
That's
what they're
perfect.
doing.
I was going to say it's just like a 911 job in ways, though we're moving in technology and remote monitoring, and it's fascinating what technology can do for security right now. And then back real quick to the neighborhood patrols, just having these patrols going through town. You know, if I was a criminal, I'd be like, oh, if there's a security looking vehicle around, maybe I should move elsewhere. So I mean,
and
just the
do.
presence,
That's
the
what they
presence.
do.
Yeah.
They move to another spot. Sorry to say that they're probably going to do it somewhere else, but they're not going to do it where we're at.
Right.
You know, or hopefully not do it where we're at.
Yeah.
And with the heat maps that Paul Wyman puts together for us, you know, we can show our clients monthly all the different areas and the colors and what kind of crime and trend analysis and everything.
Yeah.
So it works out well. We also picked up a nice system that does threat assessment. We use it a lot, not only with our executive protection, which I'll get into in a second, but we use it with our neighborhood patrols too, because we can go into the threat assessment program, and it gives us everything that's on the web, even the dark web. We can find things. Wow. So if they talk about your name at your address, it's going to pop up, and we can get on it. You know, so we can get on for clients. We can do that, and for bad people, if we get the name of the person that's bothering you, we can do that, and we do get a lot of good information on that. So we've been using that for not only the neighborhood patrols, but we use it a lot for our executive protection, which I'll get into now.
Yeah.
So we've been doing executive protection. I did it in my former career, and I did it when we opened up P4 originally with the ex-military guys. But the way we're doing it now is a whole new thing for us. It's going very well. We were doing executive protection. We're successful. We did the Democratic National Convention this year. Derek Myers, who ran it for the Secret Service, who's a fantastic man, he was smart. Back when I did it in '96, they didn't really tell you much till you got there. A year before this one, the one we just had, Derek was out there with his team, having meetings with the private sector, security companies, with emergency management, with the fire departments, with the police departments, with the sheriff's department. And he was putting together a team of people that would be involved in this. So we got to know Derek really well from that. And Derek's a fantastic guy. He's got great emotional intelligence. Everybody likes him.
He's also got really great hair.
He's got great hair.
He does.
Everybody talks about Derek's hair. He looks like a movie star.
He does.
He looks like a movie star. And so Derek's a great guy. But we got to know him well for that, and very competent man. And so he retired in April and came with us. Since then, we have been picking up a lot of executive protection. There's nobody that knows it better than Eric. He started with Bush 2, then he went with Obama, then he went with Trump the first time, then he went with Biden. And so he was on a lot of presidential details. He knows his stuff. He knows it better than anybody. And then he came and ran the Chicago office. And then he did the Democratic National Convention in Chicago. He also did the Milwaukee Convention. He's fantastic at what he does, and just a good person. Relationships all over the country, really all over the world. So you can't get anything by him. He knows it. So we're able to get a lot of business from Derek's relationships, his know-how, the tools we brought in with the threat assessment, where we can find things out and we can actually monitor companies, people, see if they have anything bad out there on them. Through Derek's hard work, we're able to get work with the Senate and some with the House, so we're doing a lot of that work. VIPs, actors, it's coming in heavy.
Well, it also, after that horrible shooting in New York City, I'm going to say broad daylight, it was 6 a.m., right? But
yes,
the United Healthcare CEO, and I remember when that happened, like the executive protection really just started sailing.
Yeah. When the executive got killed, the executive protection started to really come into play.
Yeah.
And then so that plus the fact that bringing in Derek Myers and then what's going on out in the world right now.
Yeah.
All different VIPs are getting threatened, are getting possibly, assassin attempts.
Yeah.
We're seeing it every day. We're hearing every day on whether it's CNN or Fox, it's out there. And so it's just the right time for us to do this. In my life, I always took opportunities. Mm-hmm. And, I always told young people, be patient, wait. Don't jump too fast, but when the opportunity is there, get on it. And so I always took opportunities. Our president, Steve Vitale, is a master at taking opportunity. He's taken some great opportunities, and we've done real well with it. So the opportunity is there now. The need is there now.
Yes, it is.
That's why the opportunity is there.
Yeah.
And so we're doing really well in executive protection also.
Well, what's really great about you is your entire career, which we've said is nearly 50 years in the making. It's like every single angle of what you need to do and know, you've been there and done that. And now it's just a part of the foundation of P4.
Yes.
So it's just, and too, the relationships and the way that you work with your team and how you are so smart to get the right people in the right places. Steve and Derek and Paul and who am I missing? Adam and Kevin. Am I missing anybody?
Oh. There's a few more, Jeff. Okay. And we've got our whole crew. What I tell people, I tell people this all the time. A lot of the offices in the other companies, I know most of the companies throughout the country. And good people. There's a lot of good companies out there with very good people. But most of them will have one real heavy hitter, if they're lucky too. I'm lucky because I've got about 8 or 9 heavy hitters in one place.
Yeah.
They're not stretched out. They're all in one place. We really deliver for our clients. I was just giving kudos. We had our yearly kickoff meeting with our upper echelon yesterday. And I gave kudos to Paul Ohm, one of the principals and partners. Paul was a former football player that became an Army Ranger, and he was decorated. Yeah. And he doesn't know the word quit. And he's super smart, and he comes up with great ideas.
That's great. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the evolution, because you started it as president of this P4, the P4 company.
CEO.
And now
CEO president.
CEO and president. So now you have kind of relinquished some things to Steve Vitale.
Sure.
Talk a little bit about that.
I'm smart enough to know in my older age, I'll be 68 soon, And I've worked hard my whole life. In my 20s and 30s, it was nothing to work 80, 90, 100 hours a week. And so I've worked hard my whole life. Now I'm starting to have a chance to enjoy myself. I have a beautiful wife that I love, my grandchildren and my children. You know, I want to spend time with them. I want to pass on some good things to my grandchildren. So they really are important to me. And what I tell people is business, if you're going to really be an entrepreneur, if you're really going to have a good business, everything's together. It's not family. It's not work. It's all one. And it's not 9 to 5 with weekends off. It's all the time.
Yes,
Whether
it is.
you're going out to events or you're working with this or that on a Saturday, Sunday, or jumping on a plane, or even you're home, which is nice, but you got to get on the phone or be on an email. That's part of being an entrepreneur. You can be a 9 to 5er and do well. I'm not saying you can't, but I don't know many that have made it to the top in their company. Because being an entrepreneur does not mean you have to own the firm. You can be an entrepreneur in a very big firm and head up a division or something like that. So there's entrepreneurial jobs also.
Yeah.
But I don't know any of them that you don't have to sacrifice for.
No, you got to put in the time for sure. Yeah, and you can, as you point out, you can own your role. You can own the responsibility of it, whether it's within a large company or your own business yourself. So as far as kind of enjoying more of your life or taking some steps back. So Steve, how long have you known Steve?
I've known Steve for, I would say, maybe 15 years. I met Steve, started talking with him, doing things with him, making friendships with him. Tried mentoring him and everything back before he was even in our industry. And he was just a real sharp young man, great emotional intelligence, best schmoozer I've ever met till this day, and I've met them all. He can talk to you forever and keep it going. You know, some people they're great schmoozers, but after a while, they're done. You know?
They ran out of schmooze.
Their bucket's empty. Right? Steve's a great schmoozer. He's probably one of the best I've ever seen. Plus, he's got phenomenal intelligence, emotional intelligence, which to me is important because it's about people.
It is.
Okay?
It is.
And so I was able to, Steve and I made really good friends over the years. And after a few years, when I was getting ready to leave Vicarious, they needed somebody that could come in and do what I was doing. And we needed a top salesperson. And so I recommended Steve, and they loved him right away. They said to me, you brought in a racehorse.
What a compliment.
Yeah, they said, you brought in a racehorse.
Yeah.
And I said, yep, he's a racehorse. So Steve went in there, and Steve did great. We still talked every day, even though I left the company. We still talked there every single day, saw each other regularly. And Steve just did great in Vicarious, and then he got a great promotion to California, where he went for a few years. And he was the head of operations and sales for California and Hawaii, which was the biggest market in the country for Vicarious. It was 15,000 people, I think, total, but and a huge amount of money that he oversaw. So, you know, Steve did great there. He learned his trade there. He learned from the big guys. And when it was time and my company started getting larger, I was putting people on little by little as I could afford them because I wasn't backed by anybody. And it was time to ask Steve and make him an offer. So Steve had to think hard, and he came with us. And one of the best things I ever did.
Yeah.
So 2 years ago, we made Steve president. And the nice thing about Steve is he's modern. He knows the new skills. He's invested in AI and all those things that we want to bring to the company that you have to grow, and you have to grow in a positive manner to succeed and to make it big. But he still has, like me, the old time feel about doing the right thing by people.
Yeah.
Being honest, having integrity. Don't let your ego get too big.
Yeah.
Because it's all about people. It really is. It's how you treat people. It's how you talk to people. It's how you relate to people. And that's how business is to me and to my whole team.
Yeah. In my observation, when you lead that way, there's really not many things that can stop you if you're really, truly just real at the foundation of it all. Okay, so now you have taken some steps back. Steve is doing the daily operations, but you're still involved.
Sure.
I don't know. It's hard to get uninvolved, right? Like this is another one of your creations.
Well, when you've been running at 100 miles your whole life, you can't just stop. Not unless physically or health-wise you have to. But thank God I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm healthy enough where I don't have to stop.
Yeah.
But I am able now to enjoy my family, my grandchildren. I have some homes and things like that. I'm able to enjoy that. And I've got such confidence in my supervisory management and leadership team. They're just great. I was with them, like I said yesterday. We had 30-something people in the room, and I told them, I've been around all the major companies in my career. I'm friends with most of the owners and or top CEOs of these big ones. I know what's going on in their firms. I meet with them at places. We a conference together. We go to events together. We go to dinners together. I'm friends with a lot of them. There's no company like ours that we have a special thing happening to us.
That's great.
That I've never seen in my almost 50 years. It's very special. The people are special. And it's very different than the other companies. And I know in my heart that we are going to be very successful over the next few years with all the different things we're going to do and the people we have with us.
That's awesome. It's so exciting. So talk a little bit about over all these years, like what are your top 3 lessons learned that you would say? And some people out there could be considering starting a business and looking at someone like you. You've got to have lessons you could share.
Yeah, I might give you more than 3.
Okay.
Because I talk
3
a lot.
plus.
I talk a lot.
Okay, that's fine.
But for sure, treat people the right way. Have emotional intelligence when you talk to people. Always treat them the right way. Nobody's better than anybody else. Wait for your opportunity. Be patient. Be patient. Wait for that opportunity. But when it comes, you got to take it. Know that you have to work long hours.
Yep.
You're not gonna build a firm or be an entrepreneur, whether you're with a big company or not, and you're gonna stay with them without sacrifice and long hours. Make sure your spouse is with you. If your spouse does not want you to do it, is crabby because you're coming home late, or is not behind you, you will not be successful. You're either going to screw up your job or screw up your marriage. So please talk to your spouse, make sure she's on board for you, and be patient with your spouse. Find a mentor. Mentors are very important. They've been there and they've done that. And if they're true mentors, they want you to be better than them, which I'm lucky enough to where I've got a lot of people around me now where I think are better than me. And that was the goal, for people to be better than me. And if you're a true mentor, that's what you want. Keep your ego intact. The ego can help you and the ego can hurt you. So always keep your ego intact. And then finally, I would say that realize that your business is your whole world and you sacrifice one for the other. I might have to not do this at work because I got to be at my kid's wedding, or I might not be able to make my kid's graduation, which I would suggest you don't skip the graduation.
Don't skip the graduation.
But I might not be able to make something special here because I have to do this with a client at work.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
You have to look at it as one. It's not separate.
Yeah. It's an extreme commitment, but after you put in the time and you're doing something you're passionate about, there's huge rewards, right? There's just a great feeling and feeling like I built this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You built it. You're your own boss. You helped a lot of people.
Yeah.
Another thing, I didn't even talk about that, but especially because of the business we're in. So business-wise, you get, we've got thousands of employees and all of their kids and all of their grandkids. So we're helping to support, I don't know how many thousands of people, but if you take it industry-wide with our industry of security and protection, which leads into law enforcement and emergency management and all those things we are working with, we're actually able to help people stay safe. And, we help people if there's a fire in the building. We help people if somebody's trying to hurt them. All these people we're doing executive protection for, all these neighborhood patrols we're doing, keeping the bad guys away. It's a good feeling.
Yeah.
We're actually doing something good for the general public.
Yeah.
And most companies can't say that.
That's true.
So, there's a lot of things there, but for me, it was a blessing. I thank God every day for the people that took me on in the beginning, for the people that taught me, for the people that work with me every day now. And I guess I'm living the American dream. That's how I feel. And so I tell people the American dream is still alive. And when I hear this stuff that the American dream is gone, don't believe it. It's still here. This is still the greatest country in the world.
It is. You just got to go after it. Believe in it, go after it, and make the opportunities happen. And that's what you've done your whole career. That's what I've tried to do, and a bunch of other business owners I know. So, Larry, thank you so much. Your story is so impressive and inspiring. Coming from, a kid in the city that didn't have much and had a mom who's trying to support all these children and just making it happen over the years. It is the American dream.
Yeah,
it's
I'm
inspiring.
Very fortunate and blessed.
Yeah, it is. So I thank you so much for joining us today
Thank
and
you.
sharing your story. And stay tuned for the next episode of Once Upon a Business. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Once upon a business where dreams ignite. Dreamers tell their stories, sharing their fight. Through the labyrinth, their truth unfolds. A building of foundations, echoing bold. They share their journeys with passion and pride. Join us as we go along for the ride.